Hello everyone, this is Vero and welcome back to Lucy, the eternity she wished for. Now I know I haven't done an episode in a while of Lucy. There are two main reasons. One would be that the developer specifically stated that I could only play 3 hours of this game and upload it onto YouTube. But recently they changed that policy and said that we are able to play all the way until the October 19th inside the game. Now I'm not sure when that will be, but hopefully it will be more than 3 hours of gameplay, so you guys can enjoy more Lucy. Alright, the other reason, well, I've been sick for the past couple of days. I actually wanted to record this long ago, but my voice was a bit it's actually kind of right now too, but I'm gonna try my best, okay? So where we last left off, we brought Lucy home after repairing her, correct? So unlock the front door and enter the house. Unlike usual, I could sense someone's presence inside. I hear a couple voices coming from the television inside the living room. My father appears to have returned home early. It makes me feel uneasy. I effortlessly remove my shoes using only my feet. Come to think of it, I was always home alone. It's been this way ever since I'd grown old enough to take care of myself. Before that, we used to have a housekeeper watching over the place. However, that was only until I began middle school. From then on, I was always by myself. I would eat breakfast alone, I would eat dinner alone. The cycle would repeat endlessly. I don't even remember the last time all of us ate dinner together as a family. There's no such thing as a home-cooked meal in this household. I've eaten so many different kinds of instant foods in my life that I've come to memorize every product of every brand. My father puts his work before family, and my new mother follows my father everywhere to support him, while practically ignoring me. That is my family. At this point, it feels out of place to see someone actually at home. My father is on the couch watching television. Ah, you're back. He doesn't even turn around to face me. It implies that he's not in a good mood. Yes, father. You're very late. I checked the time. It wasn't actually that late. There are times when I'd be back much later. I wonder if this man even knows how old I am. Where have you been wandering around for so long? Don't you know that you'll be in college soon? I don't bother replying. Says the guy who never paid any attention to me. I think to myself, I don't get along too well with my father. Our relationship compares badly with other families, but that is to be expected. We've never spent much quality time together, going to the zoo or playing soccer together. I don't have any of those fond memories that other kids my age probably have. My earliest memories are of my father's stern face, so it would be even more bizarre if we actually got along. As I stand in silence, the old man launches his next attack. Are you not listening to me? He still doesn't bother looking at me. I've gotten used to minding my own business. We kept to our own devices. To solve any conflicts within a family, you would normally need to sit down together and talk about it. But my father doesn't think there's any need for that. He thinks everything is fine the way it is. It'd be really painful to talk face to face with that man though. I just stopped by somewhere on the way home. Yeah, I'll just deal with our usual exchange. As long as I don't make him angry, that's good enough for me. I just need to maintain the peace between us. It's always been this way. As usual, I try my best to not rock the boat. I don't know what you kids are up to these days, But remember that students like you should be studying. I'm saying this for your sake. So stop hanging around with those brats who only care about having fun. You can't afford to lose sight of your main goal. Stay focused. I'll be going to my room now. With that said, I try to make my escape. Our conversation would usually end about here. But Lucy, who'd been silent all this time, decides to whisper something into my ear.
실례지만 주인님, 저분이 주인님의 아버님인가요?
I hesitate whether I should tell her or not. In the end, I quietly whisper back. Yeah. Lucy taps my shoulders.
주인님, 이제 내려주세요.
I have no choice but to grant her wish. Maybe Lucy's voice had caught him by surprise. Because my father finally turned to face me. He's wearing a bewildered look. Who's your guess? With a wide smile, Lucy grabs onto the edges of her skirt. Then she performs a flawless curtsy that would make a princess envious.
안녕하세요, 아버님. 다목적 용도로 제작된 안드로이드 루시 발렌타인이라고 합니다. 오늘부터 이 집에서 신세를 지게 되었으니 앞으로 잘 부탁드려요.
What? It's just a robot. His attitude changes completely. The sharpness in his voice penetrates every part of my body, but Lucy doesn't seem to notice. Or rather, she's pretending not to. She continues with a smile.
청소, 빨래, 세탁, 요리. 어느 것이든 맡겨만 주세요. 루시는 일반 가정에서 필요로 하는 수많은 가정일들을 프로 수준으로 능수능란하게 수행하는 것이 가능하답니다.
I'm sorry, but there's nothing we need from a robot in this family. I suggest that you go look for somewhere else to stay.
에템! 실례되는 말씀입니다만 아버님, 루시가 할 수 있는 일은 생각하시는 것보다 훨씬 다양하답니다.
Uh-oh, this is not looking good. Meanwhile, Lucy continues to ramble on, completely oblivious to what is about to happen.
앞서 말했던 부분 이외에도 아버님께서 걱정하시는 부분인 아드님을 위한 여러 교육적인 지도 및 편달도 가능하답니다. 물론 더할 나위 없이 우수한 교사들의 교육법들만 엄선해서 참고하고 있기도 하고요.
She's talking as if she's about to become my personal tutor.
그 외에도 유용한 기능이 많답니다. 재봉일이라든지 알뜰한 살림을 위한 가계부 정리라든지.
Just where did you get this piece of junk? Get it out of my sight. His angry outburst is as sudden as it is intense. It catches Lucy off guard. She stumbles backwards in alarm. No surprises here. I saw all of this coming from a mile away. It's a present from a friend. I lie instinctively. If I honestly tell him that I'd found her in the trash, he'll definitely force me to take her back there. I'll just say that I got her from Dr. Gears. My father knows his manners. There's no way he'll make me throw away a present. Really? You haven't stopped being a troublemaker since you were little. What have I always told you? Robots are ruining society. Did you forget all about that? My father has always been like this. Robots are becoming increasingly more common. They're gradually making their way into our daily lives. But my parents consider them as intruders infiltrating human society. They're unable to catch up with the shifts in technology, lest they refuse to let go of the traditional ways. They simply refuse to coexist with robots. Thanks to that, I grew up hearing nothing but bad things about robots. What's wrong with keeping one around the house? What's wrong, you ask? I've read that most families own androids nowadays. Why can't we just keep one around for convenience sake? I've clearly just added fuel to the fire. Convenience? Think about the type of people that care about convenience. Convenience makes us lazy, and when we're lazy, our minds don't work properly. Convenience makes our minds weak. It's obvious how they'll live the rest of their lives without realizing that they're hopelessly lazy. they'll just end up living a meaningless existence. That's rude. I've already lost count of how many times I've heard this from him. Today's lecture is Variant B. It goes from A to Z, by the way. I'm so sick of this. I just want to wrap up this conversation so I can leave as soon as possible. Anyway, I've accepted it already, so we should keep it. I'm the one who's going to be using it, so why do you care? And who's the one going to be paying for the electricity? Who taught you to be so selfish? I'm starting to reach my limit. Come on, I want to leave. Then I'll pay for it. You can get a part-time job. A job? You're going to get a job? You're going to work when you should be studying? Yes. Do you even realize how important this phase in your life is? These years in high school could decide the rest of your future. With whose permission are you planning to work? Do you really expect to be able to take after me without any effort? Kids like you should be studying. Just keep your mouth shut and study. Well, I'll pay you back when I grow up, so just leave me alone, damn it. I scream at the top of my lungs. His eyes widen in shock. That was to be expected. I have never raised my voice in front of my parents before. You can't do this, you can't do that. Just what the heck do you expect me to do? I'm so furious that I can almost feel steam rising from my head. At the same time, my father's eyes quickly narrow and begin to burn with rage. Did you high-five me? Time slows down and I'm left struggling to process what had just happened. I stand in place holding my sore cheeks as I stare at my father in shock. Not knowing what to do, Lucy is fidgeting non-stop. Just where did you learn to be so stubborn? I never raised you this way. Shocked and humiliated. Sorry, I can no longer calm my fiery soul. I turn around and stomp off towards my room. I pull Lucy along with me.
주인님?
Hesitating, Lucy eventually makes a short bow to my father and trails along. Behind me, I hear my father yelling. But I shut it all out as my blind rage is nearly overpowering. Entering my room, I lock the door behind me. I hear my father yelling as he continues banging on my door for a while. I'm not sure how many minutes have gone by. It feels like an eternity. Even if I block my ears, I can still sense the floor shaking. I curl up my body and wait for the moment to pass. The clock slowly ticks away. After a long while, I uncover my ears. The noises have stopped and I finally began to relax. As my head eventually clears up, I realize what I've done. Phew! I'd finally lost control. I've yelled at my father for the first time in my life. It's been a while since the last time I was hit by my father. It was like the rupturing of a dam after so much pressure and strain. Thinking back, it's strange that we have never had any direct confrontations like this one. Our relationship was like an unstable bomb, but I've always managed to prevent it from going off. But today was different. Well, it was bound to happen sooner or later. I try to slow down my breathing.
주인님?
Lucy calls out to me cautiously. What is it?
괜찮으신지요?
I wonder what she means by alright. Nothing's alright, but I know what she meant, so I give a small nod anyway. With a wet handkerchief from who knows where, Lucy wipes down my sweaty forehead. The fruity smell of her perfume is surprisingly calming.
저 외람되지만 주인님,
What is it?
아버님께 그런 말투를 쓰는 건 좋지 않다고 생각해요.
My face quickly becomes contorted with anger. Alright, yeah, sorry about that. Someone knocked on the door, so let's just continue. What the heck? Are you also telling me I'm a bad person? Lucy shakes her head.
나쁘다고 하는 건 아니에요. 하지만 아버님과 대화할 때는 좀 더 다정하게 말하는 편이 좋다고 생각해요. 가족이잖아요. 분명 속으로는 상처받으셨을 거예요.
Oh, you don't think I'm bad, huh? When you're the one telling me that it's my fault entirely? I was the one hurt, and he was the one who hurt me. My head is aching, so just drop it and leave me alone. Lucy, who had been squirming about, goes completely still. Both her eyes suddenly lose their color. After a while, she springs back to
하지만
life.
주인님, 메모리칩에 기록된 통상적인 가정 문제들을 검색해본 결과 가정 불화를 유도하는 바람직하지 않은 대화 유형 중에 주인님과 아버님 사이에서 벌어진 패턴과 유사한 과정이 다수 검출되었답니다.
What are you talking about?
논리적으로 따져봤을 때 주인님의 행동은 여러 2차적 문제를 야기시킬 가능성이 있어요. 이 문제를 해결하기 위해서는 먼저 주인님께서 잘못을 인정하고 아버님께 사죄를...
Shut up! Your explanations don't even make sense and you're calling it logical. You wouldn't understand a thing anyway.
네? 루시가 본 게 뭐냐고 하시면...
What can you possibly tell from watching us for just 5 minutes? Well, what did you exactly find out about us? How can you say something so ignorant without knowing anything about the past 18 years we've spent together? Because she's a robot? Duh. The android tilted its head looking confused. Answer this. How many minutes are there in a day?
1440분입니다.
How many in a year?
52만 5600분입니다.
Then what about 18 years?
946만 800분입니다.
As expected from a robot, her calculations are quick and accurate. That's right. Out of the 9,460,800 minutes I've spent with my father, you've only seen 5. That's less than 0.0001%. An insignificant amount. It's my fault that you've had to witness something like this. But that man is always finding the smallest excuses to teach me things that only he himself believes. Think of it as throwing out an entire pan of pizza because of a single burnt piece of pepperoni. Where's the logic in that? Lucy's eyes lose their focus. It's just like before. Could she be looking up something inside her memory chip again? Or maybe she's doing a search online. She returns after a moment.
죄송합니다, 주인님. 앞서 말하신 대부분의 의도를 루시는 완벽하게 파악하지 못하겠어요.
I figured as much. Cause and effect. The universe operates on this principle. If a father neglects his son, then of course the son would neglect his father in return. Who's at a bigger fault here?
하지만 주인님, 말씀하신 피자는 한 조각의 파파로니만 바꾸면 완벽한 피자가 될 수 있답니다.
How much longer can I argue with this smiling carefree robot? I lie down on my bed while hugging my throbbing head. Then I let out one of my trademark phrases. This is why I hate robots. They're all so stupid. Lucy appears to be brooding over something. After a while, she finally speaks up again.
주인님, 문제 해결을 위해서는 역시 어느 한쪽이 먼저 화해를 청해야 한다고 생각해요.
Then why should I be the one apologizing? I'm not the bad guy here.
주인님이 나쁘지 않더라도 먼저 화해를 요청해야 한다고 생각해요.
Good point. Not gonna happen. Shouldn't the old guy be more mature and understanding? I'm a high school student. I do stuff on impulse. Do you get what I mean by that?
아, 그거라면 알아요. 오토바이를 타고 질주하면서 유리창을 깨고 다니는 시절을 말하는 거지요?
Close enough. Kind of exaggerated, but as long as she gets my point, yeah? I'm one of those kids these days that the adults are always going on about. It's natural that I'd have trouble controlling my emotions, so don't expect much from me. To be honest, I do think that I'm way more mature than the other kids at my age. This is all irrelevant though. I'm sure anyone would take their family matters very seriously.
하지만 아버님이라고 사과하기가 쉽지는 않으실 거예요.
How do you know?
그런 성격이시니까요.
You've learned so much from meeting him for just a few minutes. You're really impressive, I tell you.
시간의 길이는 중요하지 않아요. 루시의 안에는 방대한 양의 유사 정보가 축적되어 있거든요. 루시가 가지고 있는 여러 소스에 의하면
Sources? What kind of sources? Wikipedia? Reddit? 4chan? Ignoring my outburst, Lucy continues.
기록되어 있는 아버님의 행동 패턴 및 성향을 세밀하게 아버님께서는 의무에 충실하신 반면 고지식함과 완고함을 가지는 전형적인 가부장적인 남성의 면모를 보여주고 계십니다. 모든 감정을 억제하는 것이 가장으로서의 미덕이라고 여기고 계시는 거겠지요.
Okay, and?
평생에 걸쳐 쌓아온 습관을 바꾸기란 쉬운 일이 아니랍니다. 주인님께서 먼저 말을 해보시는 편이 좋을 것 같아요.
By the way,
네?
if you want me to make up with my father, that means I'll have to throw you out. He's not the type of person to make any compromises. Have you even realized this? I guess not.
어떻게 해야 하죠? 쫓겨나는 건 아주 곤란하거든요.
Don't ask me. Why don't you think before you talk next time? Shake my head. The reason behind this mess of a conversation is the fact that I'm talking to a robot. Sometimes I forgot that she's a robot in the first place. And sometimes it's reverse, where I end up deliberately pointing out her flaws as a robot. And then everything in my head gets mixed up. This robot really knows how to stress people out. The 3 laws of robotics. Again, a robot may not injure a human being or through inaction allow a human being to come to harm. 2. A robot must obey the orders given it by the one possessing control or authority except where such orders would conflict with the first law. 3. A robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second law. I'm just gonna read it once since this is a new episode. But after that, no. May 11, Doctor. So we're going back to the doctor's side of the story. Probably the guy who created Lucy, yes? Lucy. Lucy. Lucy Valentine. Can you hear me? Lou. Can you hear me? Lucy Valentine.
루시?
Yes, Lucy Valentine. That is your name.
루시 발렌타인. 당신은
Do you recognize who I am? Lucy slowly shakes her head. Is that so? I continue. I'm Dr. Ryu, and this is the K-Robotics Research Lab.
류원 박사.
Yes, Dr. Ryu. I'm your
나를
creator.
만든 사람. 나를 만든
Yes.
사람. 류원 박사. 류원 박사님.
Yes, Ryu. That is my name. It's funny to be saying all of this now. But yes, Ryu, that is my name. It's a bit late of a late introduction. But be sure to cherish it and remember it.
기억했습니다. 류원 박사님.
Wow, the developer really wants us to remember these 3 rules. Okay. October 14th. You. Okay, so we have 5 more days to go
주인님.
before we have to stop
주인님.
recording. My body is being shaken from side to side. Something is shaking my body.
주인님 일어나세요.
What do you want? Still feeling drowsy, I try my hardest to overcome the weight of my drooping eyelids. I finally managed to force open my eyes. And right before me was a pair of blue eyes the size of frying pans. I think that's what you call anime. I stare at Lucy in bewilderment as I find myself falling off my bed.
이제 아침이랍니다. 좋은 꿈 꾸셨나요?
Before I make any attempt to talk back to her, I decide to check the time. It was earlier than usual. I let out a big yawn. It's so early in the morning. Before I could ask, I smelled something delicious. My room was filled with the mouth-watering scent. I tell myself that the neighbors must be cooking up something good. Then Lucy suddenly opens her mouth.
아침 식사 준비가 되어 있답니다.
Those words were the most unexpected. Did you just say breakfast?
냉장고에 있는 재료로 간단한 한식
Hell
메뉴를
yeah.
준비해봤어요.
Nice job.
다만 입에 맞으실지는 모르겠네요.
Breakfast. The word had a nostalgic ring to it. When was the last time I'd eaten something other than fast food for breakfast?
참, 특별히 싫어하시는 음식은 있으신가요?
No, I don't think so.
싫어하는 식재료는요?
No, nothing like that. I wanted to say carrots and cucumbers, but I decided against it. I didn't want to be seen as an immature kid complaining about his food. Are you kidding me? Carrots and cucumbers are fine, man. How old are you? It just doesn't fit my cool intellectual image. No, is that how you see yourself? Still haven't fully woken up yet. I confirm my understanding with Lucy once more. So, you're telling me you've made breakfast?
네, 루시가 실력을
There's
발휘해봤어요.
a slight lag. I'm not sure why.
앞으로 10여 분 후면 완성이 되니 이것 마시고 조금 기다려주세요.
I feel like my computer's gonna crash. I better save. Alright, I saved. A cup of water is presented to me. I was just starting to get a little thirsty too. As I grab hold of the cup, its pleasant coolness spreads along my skin. I feel embarrassed about following Lucy's orders, so I decide to make a small complaint as I put the cup to my lips. Next time, you should wake me up when the food's actually ready.
안 돼요. 한 잔의 물로 장활동을 재개시킨 이후에 음식물을 섭취하는 편이 좋아요.
Ah, very useful advice. How annoying though. What a strict one this robot is. I enjoy the feeling of the cold water pouring down my throat and quenching my thirst. It feels like my insides are being cleansed truly. Suddenly, I realize how absurd this whole situation is. The fact that someone is preparing breakfast for me. Could I still be dreaming? I feel like I'm on cloud 9. Good on you, buddy. You have a robot girl making you breakfast. Lucy cheerfully skips towards the kitchen. I only continue to stare at her blankly. Ten minutes have passed. Only now I feel more awake. It's a pain how my body is really slow to start itself up. I begin to feel hungry. The smell of Lucy's cooking motivates me to drag myself out of bed. I head straight to the kitchen table. I'm stunned by the veritable feast laid out before me. A cloud of white steam is rising from the bowl of rice. The soup is boiling with intensity. The sound it's making is music to my ears. And there's a perfectly prepared fish along with a variety of side dishes. It'd be shameful to compare this to a lunchbox from a convenience store. Appearing to have sensed my delight, Lucy smiles pleasantly. Her voice is full of tease.
에헴.
I feel a sense of defeat. I begin to feel frustrated for no particular reason. I want to say something in reply but decide to hold back. I take a seat in silence and lift my spoon.
맛이 어떠신가요?
I haven't even taken a bite yet. What's the rush? Just hold on a second.
자, 식기 전에 빨리 드세요.
I love you. Marry me. Lucy takes a sit at the opposite end of the table. While striking a sly pose with a hand on her chin, she urges me to eat. It was as if the food was suddenly going to disappear if I didn't start soon. She's gazing at me intently. She's trying not to make it obvious, but I can tell that she's very eager to see my reaction. Whatever I say next will decide what her face will show. I take a spoonful of the glossy white rice and put it in my mouth. good. Perfect flavor and texture. While I'm at it, let's try some side dishes too. Marvelous. She really wasn't lying about her cooking skills. Let's be fair though. She probably knows only the best recipes from around the world. And since she's a robot, there wouldn't be any inconsistencies in her cooking. If they had programmed her to be a top-level chef, then this was to be expected. There's nothing to be surprised about. But a robot's just a robot. She wouldn't be able to top something that Mama used to make, as they say. Although personally, I've never had an elder's cooking, so I can't compare. Looking back at Lucy, who was still staring at me with great anticipation, I think about what I should say. I can feel an aura of confidence around her, yet she appears to be worried at the same time. She's expecting me to say something. I finally make my reply. Hell yeah, it's okay. I don't see the food anywhere, like, but sure. Well, tastes alright, I guess.
다행이네요.
Even with my meek response, she still lets out a big sigh of relief.
입맛에 맞으실까 내심 걱정했어요. 식성에 대한 정보가 부족했거든요.
You don't need to concern yourself with that. I've been eating fast foods all my life. I'll eat anything, even if you make me some porridge from pig intestines.
루시의 음식은 돼지죽과 동급이란 말이로군요. 요리 하나 제대로 못하는 루시를 부디 용서하세요. 정말 루시는 안드로이드 실격이에요.
She actually looks pretty depressed about this. She looks as if she's about to run off while leaving up behind a trail of tears. Am I supposed to chase after her while holding a piece of bread in my mouth or something? No, that's not what I meant. Okay, I got the reference there for the piece of bread. I'm saying that it tastes better than what I expected. So you don't need to beat yourself up over it.
정말인가요?
Yeah.
정말 믿어도 되는 거죠?
It doesn't take long for Lucy to cheer up and start humming away happily. It's nice that she's easy to deal with. I continue to eat in silence while checking up on her after every few spoonfuls. Aw, I'm glad you guys are having a ball of a time. I can't tell how much time has passed. The bowl of rice I'd been eating from has started to show its bottom. I steal a glance at the clock. It's not yet time to leave for school. While reveling in my satisfaction, I decide to sit back in my chair to chill out for a bit. Some time passes. While cleaning up the empty dishes, Lucy asks me a question. Her tone was quite delicate, as if to soothe a small animal. Hey, I'm no small animal, bro.
저 실례지만 주인님, 어제부터 궁금했던 것이 하나 있는데요.
What is it?
저기
She seemed to be hesitating, so I gave her a little push. Go ahead.
로봇을 싫어하는 것은 혹시 아버님의 영향인가요?
The question catches me off guard. All the unpleasant memories involving my father come flying back. I slowly realized that my chopsticks were frozen in midair. Without missing a beat, I continued delivering the food to my mouth. In an attempt to hide my surprise, I purposely give a curt answer. Well, I guess you could say that. Nothing will change from denying it. I put down the chopsticks and lock eyes with Lucy. This robot's just laid to waste the values and beliefs I've held for the past 18 years. Keeping my eyes on the robot, I muse. Now that I think about it, I was probably brainwashed.
세뇌 당했다고 하심은?
I've heard nothing but awful things about robots since I was little. Robots are bad. Robots make us ill. Robots harm society. I grew up listening to that all the time, so it sort of just rubbed off on me. The previous generation of IT. Now, the new generation of robots. Hey, sorry, I had a slight coughing fit. I guess I'm still kind of sick. Let's just continue. As long as we live sandwiched between two generations, there's bound to be people advocating against new technologies such as robots. There are plenty of people out there who are strongly opposed to the production of robots. My father is a prime example. Similar to what happened during the Industrial Revolution, the effects of this profound new technology is gradually expanding across the globe. Robots are slowly taking away people's job opportunities. It costs less to maintain robots than to pay employees' salaries. Robots never complain and are consistent in their performance, unlike people. They don't feel any stress or pain and they never mess around. It'd be much easier to deal with a robot than to fuss over a troublesome worker. We're only beginning to find out what kind of changes robots will bring to our society. Unemployment is getting out of control. All the newly formed jobs are being handled by robots. This is actually very true. This is why many people shun robots. No one understands whether this is a temporary phenomenon arising from the drastic changes in our lifestyle or if it's a type of psychological disease. It'll only become clearer as time goes on. One thing I can say for sure is that there's always been a divide amongst the population, as made evident by the lootism movement in the early 1800s. Some are more willing to accept this new technology while some are not. To me, a world run by robots doesn't seem too promising. It's very true. You know, in real life, if robots were to take all of our jobs that take, I don't know, like cooking, cleaning, handing out flyers, anything that doesn't really need a brain to do, and a robot can do it. Damn, imagine how many people will be unemployed. It was too late by the time I'd finally grown old enough to be able to think for myself. It's not as simple as changing my perspective, because maybe I still would have turned out like this even without my father's influence. My hatred for robots has simply become part of my life now. The most horrifying part of brainwashing is that you can never fight against it. It's technically impossible to bend someone completely to your will. You can't do anything about people acting loyal on the outside but despising you on the inside. Brainwashing is different, however, because the person wouldn't have the knowledge to think for himself in the first place. And it's possible to take advantage of that bit by bit. As long as the victim never comes to realize this, he'll never be able to retaliate. There's also needs to be a compelling reason for him to change. Even with a good reason, it's likely that he won't be willing to accept it. Because if he did, we would be going against all the beliefs he'd held for his entire life. It will crumble the foundation of his very existence. The older a person becomes, the harder it gets for him to admit that he has been in the wrong. Who knows? Maybe I would would have never come to hate robots. It's too late for me to start thinking about that now, though.
루시는 말이죠. 주인님과 아버님 두 분 모두 로봇을 좋아해 주었으면 좋겠어요. 루시를 좋아해 주셨으면 좋겠어요. 앞으로 이곳에서 사이좋게 잘해나가고 싶으니까요.
Upon hearing that, I unknowingly let out a bitter laugh. You saw what my father did when he found out you're a robot. You're asking for the impossible. It'd be a relief in itself if nothing happens to you behind my back.
그럴지도 몰라요. 하지만 그래도 로봇을 좋아해 주셨으면 좋겠어요.
I sigh softly. She's failing to think logically as a computer. Even after hearing that my father wants to throw you out, how could you still hope for something like that? If person A hates person B, it's likely that person B will come to hate person A. At least that's how it is in normal human relationships. So how come Lucy can't grasp this? Because she's very patient and forgiving? No way. It's because she's a robot that knows how to suppress its emotions. It's because she isn't human.
아버님도 분명 주인님처럼 마음이 따뜻한 분이시랍니다. 루시는 알 수 있어요. 그래서 앞으로 주인님과 좋은 관계를 유지했으면 하고 바라고 있어요. 아, 물론 루시하고도요.
You're already mistaken by calling me kind-hearted.
아버님뿐만이 아니에요.
She just ignored me. That little...
주인님도 리페어샵의 수리공 아저씨도 연구소 여러분들도 모두 좋은 사람들 뿐이랍니다. 주인님을 비롯한 세상 모든 사람들을 최선을 다해 서포트하는 것. 그게 루시의 사명이자 바람이에요.
It definitely sounds like something a robot would say. It doesn't seem like she's capable of sorting the good from the bad. I can't help but give a cynical reply. In the end, we're the same. You've also been brainwashed, but in a different way. Lucy slightly tilts her head to the side. She seems to do that whenever she's confused about something.
주인님, 무슨 말씀이신가요?
You will love humans. That's essentially what's been programmed into your main system. You have no free will, that's an illusion. You have no choice but to act this way. She tilts her head from side to side. She doesn't seem to understand. You want to help everyone, right?
네, 물론이에요.
And you're happy when you help people.
네, 무척 기쁘답니다.
Why do you think that you want to help others and that you feel happy once you do?
글쎄요. 이유가 뭘까요?
It's because the program those researchers put inside you is forcing you to feel this way.
그런 건가요?
Yeah. Your will and your personality are yours, but at the same time they aren't. They're from the people that made you. They programmed you this way and you're simply following orders. You're nothing but a puppet on stage whose strings are being pulled. It may look like it's moving by itself at first glance, but it's actually being held up by wires. And there are people behind the stage controlling these wires. That's who you are, and you're only moving according to how they want you to move.
주인님께서 무슨 말씀을 하고 싶으신 건지 잘 모르겠어요.
I'm saying that your actions have no actual meaning. You're just a toy made to do certain tasks at a certain time. Nothing about you is real. There's no significance. Do you understand? The mind, its emotions and its intuition on the inside. The body, its movements, and its reaction on the outside. If they're just part of a computer algorithm created by someone, then they aren't genuine. Any gestures, any sentiments, there's no meaning behind them. I stressed that idea over and over again. Damn, this visual novel is touching on some, really controversial topics. Something like that doesn't have any meaning.
그건 아니에요, 주인님.
She startles me with a sudden rebuttal. I wasn't expecting that from her. What are you talking about?
의미가 없는 것은 아니랍니다. 의미는 분명히 있어요.
You're saying that there is a meaning? You still don't get it. You were made to be friendly with humans through a program. It's not by your own choice. Your actions and feelings, they're all artificial. That's why they're meaningless.
상관없어요, 누구의 의도이든.
What?
누구의 의향이든 루시가 누군가를 도우면 누군가는 기뻐해요. 누군가가 기뻐하면 루시도 더불어 기뻐할 수 있어요. 누군가를 도울 수 있었으니까요. 루시는 사람을 도움으로 인해 보람을 느낄 수 있고 사람들은 필요로 하던 도움을 받을 수 있어요. 루시는 그것만으로도 만족할 수 있어요. 그게 만약 누군가에 의해 의도된 상황에 불과하더라도 행동 역시 루시의 의지가 아닌 타이에 의한 것이라고 하더라도 루시에게 있어서 그건 전혀 중요한 문제가 아니에요. 루시가 그때 받았던 감정, 도왔던 행위, 도움을 준 사실, 도움을 받은 누군가의 마음. 이 과정을 주인님은 가짜라고 부를지도 몰라요. 의도적으로 만들어졌으니까요. 하지만 루시에게는 이것이 진짜고 또한 절대 의미가 없지도 않답니다.
Nonsense.
제 이름은 루시 발렌타인이에요.
Lucy states her name, as if she's announcing herself before a crowd. She also did not refer to herself in third person.
루시라는 이름은 빛이라는 뜻의 라틴어에서 따왔다고 해요. 사람들의 희망의 등불이 될 수 있도록 그런 희망을 담아 지어진 이름이라고 해요. 사람을 돕는 것, 사람을 도운 후에 성취감을 느끼는 것. 이것이 루시의 삶의 목적이자 보람이랍니다. 루시가 느끼는 가슴이 따뜻해지는 이 기분. 이게 비록 타이에 의해 만들어졌다고 하더라도 이 감정은 거짓이 되지 않는답니다. 그건 분명 의도에 상관없이 진실하다고 믿고 있어요.
I tried to say something back, but the words never came out. It felt as if there was something stuck in my throat. It wasn't exactly because I agreed with her, and it wasn't because I was touched by her words either. I actually thought she was very stubborn, as stubborn as a mule. It was rather because of how Lucy appeared so mature and real. The way she confidently stated her opinion. Nothing about her was as remotely close to my idea of a robot. That was why I could only sit in silence. I headed to school with my mind in a haze of confusion. My emotions were in turmoil. Well, we still have time, so let's continue. The shrill noise of the lunchtime bell rings. As soon as the teacher leaves the room, Dr. Gear turns to face me. You're buying some bread, right? Come on, let's go together. He up and offers to go to the cafeteria with me. Even though he already has his own lunch. He's a good guy. However, I had no reason to go to the cafeteria today. No, today's fine. What do you mean it's fine? You're not planning to get anything? Nope, not today. Don't tell me that you're going on a diet. You're not gonna grow if you starve yourself at this age, you know. No, what I'm saying is that I don't need to buy anything. With that said, I quietly take out a lunchbox and place it on top of my desk. What? Dr. Gear stares at the lunchbox in astonishment. I remove the lid to reveal its contents. The food inside looks scrumptious. It's giving off a pleasant scent. The presentation is excellent. I noticed that the menu is different from what I'd eaten for breakfast. She could have just packed up the leftovers and saved herself the trouble of making something new. Does she think that I'll be pleased about this? Well, to be honest, I'm a little happy. What the heck is this? It looks just like a lunchbox. It doesn't look like a lunchbox, it is one. What is going on? You couldn't have possibly made it yourself. Was it your mother? Wrong. If my new mother had actually paid that much attention to me, I could have probably grown up to be a normal human being. Yeah, I didn't think so. Then who could it be that you? He's pretty sharp. He seems to understand right away that it was my android who had packed my lunch. As expected from a close friend of mine. What you're thinking about is probably correct. Wow, nice going, man. Well, I don't think it's really something to be congratulated for. Let me guess, he thinks I have a girlfriend, is that it? So, how many days has it been? It better not be that chick from the other class who made you this lunch. If it's really her, it's gonna be over between us, you know? At this point, I realized that we weren't on the same page. With a disappointed look, I burst his bubble. And actually, this lunch is from my android. I've told you about this, right? That I picked it up yesterday? Oh, really? I knew it. Dr. Gears collapses on his chair like a deflated balloon. He gives me a look of disapproval. Well, he was the one getting ahead of himself, putting on a face that seemed to read, "What was I expecting from this guy?" Dr. Gear continues. I have to admit, it really was stupid of me. To think that such a big pessimist like you could ever come close to scoring a girlfriend. Yeah, that was what I thought. Yeah, my bad indeed. I feel a sudden rush of blood to my head. I don't appreciate you talking like a big shot when you've always been single yourself. Ooh, shots fired. I'm just taking my time to find a perfect match. A sad excuse from an undesirable male. I decide to taunt him a little more. But think about it. Do you really think you'll ever find someone willing to accept your weird little hobbies? How about you try again after wiping all of that robot grease? Damn! Savage, man. You bastard, talking smack just because I look a little nerdy. If you really think it's all about the looks, you'll regret it someday. Good-looking guys like you die alone. Maybe I went a little too far there. But a girlfriend, huh? I've never really thought about getting one. After a bit of thinking, I make a light retort. I don't care. It's not like I'll have any trouble living without one. Ho ho, you sure that's the case? You shouldn't lie to yourself. I'm serious. I'll eventually get married, so what's the rush? Oh wow, there's a limit to being carefree, you know. You're actually never getting a girlfriend until you die. And I'm telling you, it doesn't matter. Come on, let's be a little more honest with ourselves. Don't you at least have a couple of girls that you're interested in? The ones at our school are mostly pretty cute after all. Someone I'm interested in, huh? Who do I enjoy being around with? I don't manage to come up with an answer. It's because I've never cared for something like that. But if I were to think of a particular person... Ooh... I don't have anyone like that. You sure? Definitely. It's suspicious how you suddenly went quiet for a bit though. You're imagining things. I'm just guessing here, but could it be that you actually have someone that you like? I'm telling you, I don't have anyone. Surely you can't be interested in. My body suddenly tenses up. It'd be troublesome to cause any misunderstandings. I try to quiet him down. Hey, what are you talking... Me? My mind goes numb for a while. Oh god, coughing fit. Let me make myself clear that I'm not interested in that sort of stuff. Well, if you were with me, we'd look hot enough to make all the girls go crazy. But I only like women, I hope you understand. Huh, you'd better not be thinking about debuting as a BL character without getting a surgery first. If you were in a video game, you'd be one of the most hated characters who would reduce the sales by 80% the moment you show your face. That's not true. People call me handsome all the time. Sure they do. What exactly are we talking about? Mom and dad? And my sister? I start to feel sorry for making fun of him. Anyway, why are we talking about my looks in the first place? Don't change the subject. We were discussing how you're gonna spend the rest of your life alone. Oh, is that so? What I'm trying to say is that you should build up some experience in dating. I'm not the one to talk for others, but you're a decent looking guy and you never talk to girls. Why don't you get some practice in? Practice? Doesn't really interest me. I take a look at some of the girls near me. They're busily chattering away with their desks put together. The topic of their conversation had nothing that I could relate to. Apart from that, it's something I wouldn't want to waste my time talking about. You try listening in too. How good looking this guy is, which couples are breaking up, who's getting rejected, how good this makeup are, how nice these clothes are. Do you really think you'll be able to join in? He groans loudly. Who turned up the difficulty setting? See, of course you can't, since all you ever think about are your dumb robots. How dare you? If I wanted to, I'm no different. What did you say? I said I'm no different from you. I wouldn't be able to talk to them either. The high-pitched voices of the girls across the room invade my ear canals. They make my head hurt. One day I'll also succumb to the reproductive instincts in our DNA and get myself one of those high-frequency wave-emitting creatures to live together. Because that's just how life works, it can't be helped. My body wouldn't be able to resist the temptation. There's no point in forcing myself to do something that I have no interest in at this very moment, right? However late it is, I don't mind, since I'm currently enjoying my independence. You really are something, you know? I don't know exactly what's going on in your head, but it's definitely not normal. Like the way you make enemies out of girls just so you can sound a bit like a hipster. Shut up. It's just who I am. In an attempt to change the subject, I shoot him a question seemingly out of nowhere. It's actually something I've been meaning to ask though. Putting that aside, I want you to tell me something. What do you think about androids in general? Where did this come from all of a sudden? Just answer me. What do you think about androids? I just wanted to hear what a robot expert had to say. Androids, huh? They're convenient, aren't they? They make our lives easier, they just need electricity to run and don't need to be paid a salary. They don't make any mistakes, they're friendly, the female models are pretty cute. I agree. Except for the last one. But that wasn't the kind of answer I was hoping to hear. I asked him a more specific question. Do you believe that androids have feelings? There we go. What? Androids. Do you believe that they have feelings? I wanted to hear the thoughts of someone with a great appreciation for androids. He's had extensive experience with a variety of models, being an avid user as well, so it's a safe bet that he'd know a bit more about them than I would. To be honest, I'm not exactly sure what kind of answer I'm expecting from him. I don't know if his thoughts will affect the way I feel, but I still want to hear what he has to say. After taking a while to think, he lays it on me with a straight face. Androids don't have any feelings. They don't? That's what I said, they don't. Yeah, you're right. It was obvious what he was going to say. But I don't feel satisfied. How could this be? Maybe I was hoping for a different answer. What's the matter asking such a weird question and all? It's nothing. I just suddenly got curious. That's it. Dr. Gears is giving me a confused look. I've told you this already, right? Androids are great, but you shouldn't get too attached to them. I have a feeling it might happen to you since you don't have any experience with androids in the first place. Come on, I'm being serious. Do you know why people get so attached to androids? Why is that? It's because they want to escape from this place. I had no idea what he meant by this place. I have no choice but to ask him again. What do you mean? In short, they want to escape reality. It's related to how fantasy movies achieve higher sales during economic depression. It's also why realistic romance movies have a hard time getting themselves into the mainstream media. People can momentarily escape reality by watching fantasy movies. Romance movies need to include something glamorous or exciting in order to appeal to the audience. Not a lot of people would be willing to pay to watch something realistic because it'd be too bland. Do you get what I mean? I don't know about that. I actually do enjoy normal romance movies, you know? I don't know. Androids are like drugs. They can take care of everything you need and you can also have a conversation with them. No matter how coldly you treat one, they will always respond with a smile. But this is where a number of people get delusional. Androids are caring, androids are kind. This is what those people believe in. But androids aren't human. They don't have any feelings. They don't actually listen to your sob stories, nor do they understand how you feel. They only pretend to. It's nice to have someone that cares about you and listens to every word you say. But these people aren't facing reality. Just like how fantasy movies aren't real. So you should never get attached to them, much like drugs. Hardcore drugs. These people are merely running away from this cruel world in order to take refuge in the kindness of androids. I felt I needed to make this clear to you. Androids don't have any feelings. His words continued to linger in my mind until the end of school. I quietly repeat those words on my way home. Countless thoughts enter and leave my mind. I find them to be mostly meaningless. I try to shut off my brain, but it's not so easy. I continue to walk in silence while staring at the pavement, just like I always do. That's why I fail to notice her presence. I hear a familiar voice.
어서 오세요. 오늘 하루는 어떠셨나요?
It was Lucy's voice. I lift my head. I realize that I'm home already, and Lucy is standing at the door smiling at me. You. Why are you out here?
주인님을 마중 나왔답니다. 오늘 하루는 어떠셨나요? 주인님?
I must have zoned out for a moment. I quickly recollect myself. Oh, it wasn't too bad.
그런가요? 다행이에요. 주인님. 주인님.
What is it?
왜 그렇게 멍하게 서 계신가요? 학교에서 무슨 일이 있었나요?
No. I was just a little surprised, that's all.
놀랐다고요?
Yeah.
뭐에 놀라셨나요?
She looks at me calmly. I couldn't help but open my mouth when I met her gaze. About the fact that someone was actually waiting for me at home. Because that's never happened to me before. The house always used to be empty on my way home from school. That's why I was surprised. It's nothing special.
학교 갔다가 돌아오면 집에 아무도 없다는 사실이 외로웠나요?
No, not
마중
really.
나오는 사람이 없어서 쓸쓸했나요?
I'm telling you, I wasn't. The android standing before me remained silent for a while. Without saying a single word, she continues to stare into my eyes. I feel uncomfortable, but feels like I've told her too much. The silence continues. She doesn't say anything. She doesn't delve any deeper. Instead, she softly takes my arm and begins to lead me towards the door.
오늘은 조금 쌀쌀하네요. 어서 집 안으로 들어가는 게 좋겠어요.
Okay.
아참! 그 전에 하나, 명령을 내려주세요.
An order? What kind of order? Lucy reveals an angelic smile.
루시가 앞으로도 계속 주인님의 마중을 나올 수 있도록 명령을 내려주세요. 그렇게 명령을 해주신다면 루시는 언제 무슨 일이 있더라도 이렇게 주인님을 마중 나갈 수 있게 된답니다.
Giving an order to a robot is the same as giving it a leash, and that is what Lucy was willing to do for me. She was willing to trade away a bit of her freedom in order to make me happy. I guess this is her own special way of being kind. Just go ahead and do as you please. It's not like I'll hate it.
알겠습니다, 주인님.
But it's not an order.
네? 명령이 아니라고 하시면
No. This is just a request. I'm not forcing you to do it, so if you don't want to, you don't need to. It doesn't matter. Lucy doesn't say anything. Instead, she responds with a smile. A smile and a small nod. That's sweet. All the while being led inside by Lucy, my head continues to spin. Her kind eyes full of sympathy, the comforting warmth rising from her hands. Her cautious gestures full of consideration. They're all part of someone's programming. They're not genuine. But at this very moment, I tell myself that maybe it doesn't matter so much. Even though her thoughts and actions may not be real, at the very least, she was giving me the happiness I've been missing in my life. That's why I decide to skip over the small details for now. Aw, this is getting really sweet. I feel like, I'm feeling the feels already. Aww, I feel so warm inside. It's making me feel happy. It's still October 14. Damn, this game pretty long. Okay, so I've been recording for quite a while, so let's just save it here. Come on. Alright, so that was part 2 of Lucy, the Eternity She Wished For. I'll be doing a part 3 soon since, the developer allowed us to record, more stuff, so we're gonna do just that. Anything else I should say? Oh, right. The visual novel is actually getting really good. They're asking a lot of controversial topics, one that gets your mind, thinking. And it applies to, in real life too, if it were to actually happen. I'm liking this visual novel so far. I'm a fan for, realistic type of visual novels, but this is good in its own way, so thanks again, everyone, for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay frosty, y'all.